For that, let's turn to Professor Jeffrey from York University. Here is the further suggestion, though, that actually the concern doesn't just come from government. It comes as well, for instance, from the Public Accounts Committee, chaired by Labour MP Meg Hillier, who did a report last year and said too many providers, i.e. you, are too heavily dependent on overseas student fees to maintain their finances. It's not a satisfactory situation in a sector that government is leaning on to boost the nation's low productivity. Is that fair criticism?
Let me just go back a little bit, and I'll come back to that question. But we're talking about the success of our universities in attracting some of the brightest young people from around the world to contribute their talents here to enrich the campus experience for all students, including our home students, to contribute enormously to local economies, and in some to act as one of our most successful export industries. This is the global Britain at play that many would like to see. Now, on the more specific point about the dependence on international students, let me make two comments. Firstly, we're world leaders in research in the UK through our universities. But our research has never been fully funded by the public purse. It's always required subsidy. And in the last few years, because the system for funding undergraduate study has been basically flat, it's been eroded by inflation. And in the last couple of years, great big chunks have been torn out of it by inflation. So that requires cross-subsidy, the teaching of our home undergraduates. Now, the biggest contributor to those two elements of cross-subsidy are our international students. They're actually making the system work.
But I think the point that Meg Hillier was making from the Public Accounts Committee is, yes, that is the situation at the moment, but it's not feasible long-term, particularly of China and the political difficulties there are with China, that funding stream might be cut off at any stage.
Well, that is clearly a concern when we're dependent on geopolitics, international travel. COVID was a big shock, and so on. But the lesson to be drawn from that is not that universities are over relying on international students. It's that the funding system which supports our universities needs a very good look and very good reform to make sure that it's properly funded through domestic sources, so that we don't see this need for cross-subsidy.
Professor Charlie Jeffrey from York University, Vice-Chancellor there, and Vivienne Stern, CEO of Universities UK. Thank you both very much.